Now to the latest on the signature scandal. Sabina Matos has been cleared to stay on the ballot after election officials verified she has more than enough approved signatures.
The Board of Elections has voted to subpoena the people who collected signatures on behalf of the Matos Congressional campaign, although they would not be expected to testify before them until after the primaries.
Sheena Losciuto spoke to the Lieutenant Governor and has her new reaction from Providence. Sheena.
Well, first off, we have to point out at this point we are just one day away from early voting here in Rhode Island, and Matos herself says she has been ready to move forward from this.
Let's talk about issues. Let's stop this madness about signatures because you already got it double check.
Vying to be Rhode Island's next Congresswoman, Lieutenant Governor Sabina Matos can officially stay in the race despite questions and concerns surrounding the signatures collected by her campaign.
I only need 500 and I have over 700 signatures.
A newly revealed Board of Elections review confirms she has more than enough approved signatures to earn her spot on the ballot, something she says she has confidently noted all along.
I have been the most better candidate in this race. And I'm the one that has the strongest record of working for more than 12 years serving the people of Providence, the people of Rhode Island.
Findings from the review were presented at a Board of Elections meeting Tuesday. The numbers were not too different from findings by the local boards of canvassers. However, it still highlights room for improvement in the process. That's according to the executive director of Common Cause Rhode Island.
We found out from the Board of Elections review is that there were some inconsistencies in how the signatures were checked among the more than dozen communities that did it. And the result was, some of the categories shifted and some voters who had been rejected were accepted and vice versa. So there needs to be some improved rules.
The board members also voted to subpoena the people who collected the signatures for the Matos campaign, though that would happen after the primaries. And again, the board voted to review that again at about September 12th. That's after the primaries. Meanwhile, both the Attorney General and the Rhode Island State Police continue their own investigation. Reporting live in Providence, I'm Sheena Losciuto, 12 News.
First at 6, the signature scandal that has overshadowed the Congressional District 1 race isn't over. Good evening and thank you for joining us. I'm Shannon Heggie.
I'm Mike Montecalvo. The Board of Elections says Sabina Matos' campaign still has enough signatures, but they aren't stopping their investigation.
12 News reporter Sheena Losciuto was at this morning's meeting and caught up with Matos this afternoon. Sheena?
Well, really, there are two big takeaways here. First, Matos is allowed to stay on the ballot. But number two, the people that collected those signatures for her campaign, they are now being asked to testify before the Board of Elections. Lieutenant Governor Sabina Matos has the signatures she needs to move forward in the congressional race. And moving forward is all she wants to do.
Let's stop this madness about signatures because you already got it double check. First by the Board of Canvass and the Secretary of State, and now by the Board of Election. I think you have enough proof. If you don't want to believe me, I think you have double proof.
The Board of Elections revealed their findings of a review Tuesday, one day before early voting begins in Rhode Island. Of the more than 1,200 signatures collected by the Matos campaign, more than 700 were approved to be valid, giving her plenty of cushion even with the signatures that were disqualified. A candidate only needs 500 to be on the ballot.
Specifically that there were at least 3 dead people who couldn't sign it and their signature appears.
According to that signature review, no widespread fraud was found. So how did the name of a dead person even land on the list of signatures collected? That is one of many questions board members say they won't give up on.
I don't want to see this just simply fall away.
The board has voted to subpoena those who collected the signatures, but in an attempt to not impact the election, members have agreed to wait until after the primaries.
I think ultimately the voters will have their say on this.
I'm satisfied in the process. I personally, as a board, would like to see this be closed out.
And again, the Attorney General and Rhode Island State Police are also investigating the signatures. Reporting live in Providence, I'm Sheena Losciuto, 12 News.